Very good afternoon. We start with a police hunt for four separate motorists who ran over a pedestrian as she lay dying in the road. The victim, thought to be in her late 20s or early 30s, was first hit by a lorry in the early hours of yesterday morning. As she lay in the street, she was hit again by another lorry and then two separate cars who all failed to stop or to try to help her. Sarah Haji-Bagheri is at the scene in Tulse Hill in South London for us now. What on earth happened, Sarah?
A truly shocking story, Kay. So this was around 6:40 yesterday morning. You might be able to see behind me, we are literally a stone's throw away from Tulse Hill station. There would have been a lot of commuters in this local area at around 6:40, but of course it would have been dark, and we are at what locals have been telling me has been flagged as quite a dangerous junction. We understand from Metropolitan Police that a woman in her late 20s or early 30s was hit by a large lorry at about 6:40 yesterday morning. She was then hit by a second lorry and two cars, and we understand that all four drivers of those vehicles did not stop after hitting this woman. She was pronounced dead on the scene just 30 minutes later at around 7:20 yesterday morning. Now, police are appealing for information for people to come forward because of where this incident happened. They are hoping that there were witnesses. We are just outside the Labrooks in Tulse Hill. We are a very busy junction. I've been speaking to people in the local area who say that they have been concerned about the safety of this junction for some time. Here's Paul Rearsden. He is the manager of the charity shop just opposite to where this incident happened.
It's a death trap. It is. Everyone tries to race, beat all the lights. Even on the green men, you still get people driving through without even stopping or looking. It's just so they can beat the lights. They race from one to another. It's a death trap. It's been waiting to happen. We get roughly one a year that pass away, but nothing's still been done by Lambeth Council.
The Metropolitan Police have told me that they have now notified her next of kin, but they have yet to formally identify the victim. They are calling on members of the public to come forward if they have any information because of where this incident happened, so close to the station, and of course the time, 6:40 yesterday morning. They are hoping that people come forward.
OK, for now, thank you. Grenfell inquiry has been hearing how nearly all firefighters sent to the scene of the fire in June were traumatised by what they saw in the second day of a public hearing into the disaster, which killed 71 people and left more than 850 others homeless.
Firefighters are victims too. Firefighters who attended the Grenfell Tower disaster and control room operators up and down the country who took those harrowing calls are victims. They were exposed and re-exposed to trauma as they went back in again and again. They were, in fact, placed in an impossible position, and they should never be placed in that impossible position again.
Well, our senior correspondent Ian Woods was at that inquiry, joins me now. Hello to you, Ian. There was also a petition, wasn't there, that was submitted?
Yeah, and it's connected with a call that's come sort of time and time again over the last 2 days of this procedural hearing, which is now concluded, which is basically saying that people who have some experience of what it is like to live in social housing, who come from a similar background to most of the victims, they should be involved in some of the decision-making or some of the, at least, consultations of this inquiry. And to back that up, a petition was handed in at Downing Street today from some of the relatives of those who lost their loved ones at Grenfell, urging the Prime Minister to change the focus of the inquiry to allow that to happen and have people on board alongside the retired judge and making decisions about the direction of the inquiry. This is what they said.
So Martin Moore-Bick is an experienced High Court judge who we feel is suited to the Grenfell Tower inquiry. However, we're worried that he may not have an understanding of the wider issues that are beyond his experience and expertise. Nor is it right that the truth surrounding the deaths of 71 victims be dependent on a single person's judgment. Neither ourselves nor any of our legal representatives have advocated that we or the local community sit in judgment alongside the chair. What we seek is an impartial and independent decision-making panel with a range of experiences to assist the chair in 2, 3 or 4 heads are better than one.
Now, you heard that phrase there, decision-making, and that comes down to what sort of panel it's going to be, because Martin Moorbeek has been suggesting to various lawyers over the last 2 days that, well, we could have some sort of consultative panel, but it wouldn't have any powers. What the local people want is someone who actually does have decision-making powers. Now, the inquiry concluded today with the counsel for the inquiry, Richard Millett, effectively saying that, you know, we really want local people to be involved in this, because they say that we recognise that unless the work of the inquiry is collaborative and inclusive of the victims, the work will be in vain. They've all been given this role as core participants, which allows them to be involved in the process and question witnesses and so forth. But they want the decision-making at the end of this inquiry not to be just that of the judge, but to be that of other people as well. And whether or not that happens is not up to the judge, it's not up to any of these people who are petitioning, it is up to the Prime Minister. She set up the inquiry and only she can change the remit for it.
Okay.